Hello YouTube world, pretend farmer here. Not a real farmer, just pretending. You know, a lot of people now that the price of eggs are going up so high are asking me questions about getting chickens. Everybody and their brother saying, oh, we're gonna get chickens this spring. We're gonna have free eggs. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what it means to have chickens and getting your own eggs. And if you're thinking about it, I want you to watch this video to help you determine, is it really something you want to get into? A lot of people seem to think they can just throw a few chickens in their backyard, make a little box for them, and they go out every day and get their eggs, and it just doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way, does it? Let's get into it. So the first thing you need to understand is that a chicken will not lay an egg every single day, all year long. In fact, even during the peak time of year when chickens are laying at their most, they still are going to take a day or two off every week. So if you think you're going to get 4 chickens and have 4 eggs a day, you better think again. In fact, in the wintertime, chickens stop laying almost completely. This is because of temperatures, shorter daylight hours, so on and so forth. But this idea that you're always going to have eggs if you've got chickens, it don't work that way. This here is an Americana. She's a really good layer, but right now, she's barely laying any eggs at all. Your chickens are going to need constant access to food and water. You're going to have to tend to their feeder and especially their water daily. They can make a real mess too. You better believe there's going to be some poop to clean up. Chickens love to dig holes, especially up against where their fencing is. So in your coop, in your run area, you're going to have to make sure you're constantly filling these holes in and even try and bury your fence to keep the chickens from getting out and escaping. There's a lot of predators out there. It seems like everything wants to eat chicken for some reason, probably because it's so tasty. Even a lot of the animals that we consider to be our friends can be an enemy for chickens. Having a well-protected coop is an absolute must. Now each chicken is going to eat about 1.5 pounds to 1.75 pounds of food a day. So basically, if you've got half a dozen chickens, a 50-pound bag of feed is going to last you around roughly a month. Feed is running probably on average about $16 a bag right now, and you can bet if everybody starts going out and buying chickens, the price of feed's going to go up like everything else. You know it will. And so you're sitting there saying, okay, well, not every chicken lays every day. About $16 for a bag of feed a month. I'm still coming out way further ahead than if I bought my eggs at the grocery store. I mean, after all, 18 eggs is like what, $7 now? Well, there's more cost than just the feed. Let's talk a little bit about cleaning and maintenance. This bag of Suncoast pine shavings, large flake, it runs about somewhere between $7 and $8 for a bag like this. And I've got an 8x8 coop that takes about half of this bag every time I clean it out and fill it up with fresh shavings. This is something you're gonna have to do about once a week, unless you're using the deep litter method, which personally, that's a whole nother subject. It's not something we do here on the Pretend Farm. So yes, that means every week I'm using half of this. I'm going through 2 of these a month. So that's $14, $15 just in pine shavings to keep my chickens in fresh, clean bedding in the coop. You gotta keep up with that because otherwise they can get really sick from being exposed to their own crap. You'll get maggots in it. They're walking through it. It's gonna mess up their feet. They're gonna start getting sick. It's just a very unhealthy environment for the chickens. You gotta keep their coop clean. Aside from the money aspect of it, there's time invested in that. It takes me probably about a half hour to 45 minutes every week to clean this coop out and get it looking nice. If you want to know more about what's involved in cleaning out your coop, I've got a coop cleaning video. If you scroll on down, I made it back over the summer. I'd encourage you to watch that and just make sure you're okay with what you're going to have to do to keep your chickens in a clean environment. You know, there's something really satisfying about picking your own freshly laid eggs. This one's fresh out of the oven, it's still warm. These taste so much better than what you get in the store because they're so much fresher than what you get in the store. And that's really the main reason to get chickens and have your own eggs. If you're doing it to save money, I guarantee you, you'll probably never see the savings. I know I haven't. And keep in mind, so far we've just talked about the bare bone essentials of keeping chickens. This doesn't include things like the treats, which they're gonna beg you for them, so you almost have to feed them. I mean, you can't not feed your chickens snacks every now and then. You got to. Every now and then your chickens may get sick. You might have to buy them a dewormer or something. So you're gonna have a little bit of money invested in their health care. You know, chickens need to be provided with a dust bath, a place that they can regularly bathe, and sometimes you might even have to put additives or treat them for mites. If you get a problem with mites, you're gonna have to do a thorough coop cleaning, put down some diatomaceous earth or something like that to get those mites out of there. They can get bumblefoot, where their feet get really infected. You got to take care of them then. They can die from that. You know, having chickens is more than just throwing them in a box and going out and picking eggs every day. They need more to eat than just grass, especially in the winter. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. The more you feed them, the more they eat. And the more they eat, the more you have to feed them. Now keep in mind, as you can see here, sometimes just because you feed your chickens and a chicken is only supposed to eat about 1.5 pounds of food a day, that doesn't mean that something else is not going to come along and eat their feed, making you go through even more feed. I'd highly recommend, if you get chickens, to ration their feed, just because you're going to have wild birds come by. You'll have other furry beasts come by. I mean, you know, because cats eat crack corn apparently. You know, another thing you really got to take into consideration too is, if you got a chicken coop in your backyard and you're giving them feed, they're going to splosh that feed out all over the yard, and inevitably you're going to have mice come in after it. You prepared to deal with the mouse problems? You know, having chickens can be a lot of fun, and here on the Pretend Farm we collect them like they're Pokemon cards. All sorts of different sizes, shapes, and colors. Kind of like Pokemon cards that lay eggs. Just got to make sure that you know what you're getting into. Make sure that they're right for you. It's really more of a time thing than it is money. If you're looking for cheap, easy eggs, don't get chickens. They come with a cost, and you're going to work a little more for them. It's easier just to go to the store and buy them. I don't care how expensive they are. If you want eggs that taste good and you're willing to put in a little bit of work and spend some extra money, chickens just might be right for you. Be sure and stay tuned here on the Pretend Farm. We just ordered 15 chocolate Orpingtons, a very rare breed of chicken. They're hard to come by. You don't see them at many hatcheries. We're getting them here on the Pretend Farm, and they're going to be showing up mid-February. You're not going to want to miss this. Happy farming out there from the Pretend Farm, signing out. Okay.